I don't think I'll catch too much flack for saying that boss fights are usually the weakest aspect of a Sonic game. Sure, there are some all-time greats like Perfect Chaos in Adventure 1, Wyvern in Frontiers, and my personal favourite, the final weapon from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But they are completely outnumbered by... oh no! Yeah, shit like this. I was debating making an hour-long video ranking every boss fight in the series from best to worst, solely because of these laughable character battles. And then I realised how much I'd hate doing that, so I'm not going to. Instead, I'm just going to talk about a bunch of bosses that I either hate or find completely baffling. Let's start with this blue knobhead. When I first played Sonic Adventure and fought Chaos 4, I thought, oh, that was a pretty decent boss. The arena being a pond filled with lily pads that you have to jump between to avoid drowning or getting hit is a great evolution of previous water-based fights in Chemical Plant and Hydro City, and remains a unique battle in the series' 3D entries. And then I had to do it all over again in Tails' story. Okay, I thought, makes sense, he was with Sonic after all, but, you know, I would have appreciated some different attacks or the arena changing in some way to make the fight just a little bit different. No big deal though. And then I had to do it all over again in Knuckles' story in the exact same way as the last two times, so I threw the game in the bin. You know when you play as Knuckles in the original Sonic 3 half, how the bosses have extra moves or less opportunities for you to hit them so they're a bit harder to defeat? I think this would have been a perfect chance to do something similar. It certainly would have stopped it from feeling so repetitive, which is probably the best way to describe it. Chaos 4 is the most repetitive boss fight in the series. Not the worst by any means, and certainly not the dumbest. That honour goes to these fucking things. Why didn't he just turn around? Is he stupid? Putting yourself at a disadvantage and fighting him from the front without invincibility doesn't make this any more challenging either. I guess it's the first boss in Sonic CD. It can't have a Glock to shoot Sonic in the head and kill him instantly, but there is literally no challenge here. The other initial bosses in the original tetralogy could at least hit you with ease if you were being overconfident and careless. With this one though, I'd legitimately be amazed if you did get hit. The same goes for the battle in Flying Battery's laser prison in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I'm sorry, but what battle? The only thing Eggman's attacking here is his own ship, unless you decide to have Sonic stand still like a fucking idiot. And why did he make the trap so bloody wide? Could he not have made it narrower like it ends up being later on from the very start? Shit, thinking about it, did he need to use the laser? It's not like Sonic can get out, even in his super or hyper form. Just leave him in there to die of starvation or something. Christ, I'm seriously questioning the logic of a 31-year-old game made for children about a blue cartoon animal. Let's stop doing that and get back to talking about bosses I actually dislike. The quote-unquote fights in Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal are pathetic. In other news, water is wet, the sky is blue, Mario Kart World is overpriced, and King Charles has sausages for fingers. I straight up forgot that this, and its sequel Fire and Ice, existed until I got the idea for this video. And while I've never played the latter, I'm certain that its bosses are better than the mid-as-hell ones you play through in Shattered Crystal. The first three are races against an opponent, these being Styx, Shadow, and Metal Sonic, which I love conceptually. One of my favourite bosses in the series is the race against Metal in Sonic CD, so I'm always excited to see something similar. The problem is that in Shattered Crystal, it's just a race. None of your rivals can attack you in any way, and the only obstacles you'll face in the course are these Bunsen burner looking things that you can easily avoid by hitting a spring, or the occasional enemy that you'll need to take out with a homing attack. Lyric at the very least makes an effort to try and damage you, but the fight really drags on when it has no reason to. You chase him down, dodge his lasers, dodge his missiles, hit him in the arms, punch him in the fucking face, repeat this process twice, and eventually win. It's a real shame that these bosses aren't great, because, like I said before, I love the idea behind them in theory, but in execution, they fall completely flat. But hey, at least they didn't shift into a completely different genre from the rest of the game out of the blue at the very end. Oh wow, speak of the devil. It was inevitable that this one was going to get brought up. Pretty much everyone on the internet has complained about how the original fight against the end is terrible, that it shouldn't have been a shoot-'em-up, that it's the worst final boss in the whole franchise, and all I can say to those people is, are you on crack, and can I have some, please? The worst final boss? Have you played Sonic Jam on the Gamecom recently? I'm not going to talk about that one for the record, I just wanted to shit on it really quick. Sure, I'll agree that the end is the most disappointing final boss in the franchise, but I'm going to level with you here. It isn't even the worst boss in Sonic Frontiers. That would... I'm sorry, chaps. but I don't particularly like Squid. Firstly, it looks nothing like a squid, and second of all, I don't find the fight all that engaging when you manage to catch up to it. It only has two options of attack, laser balls or its arms, and it'll only use one of them in each phase. Plus, the whole chase down the big robot and sidestep to avoid the thing it's firing has kind of been overdone since Colors' final boss. I will also admit that I am heavily biased against it, because I'll be minding my own business, exploring the islands, and then... Okay, I know I made fun of myself earlier for overanalyzing and nitpicking boss fights as if I were CinemaSins or some shit, but I don't care. It's my video and I'll bloody do it again with the 8-bit Sonic 2. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you are Sonic the Hedgehog. And I don't give a shit if you're out in public, at the gym, on the bus, just do it right now. Your best mate Tails has just been kidnapped by Robotnik, who has built some big robots to finally kill you. Without a second thought, you rush to the rescue through a huge mine, only for this enormous wall to stop you from going any further, as you begin to plummet to your death into a pit of lava. And then Robotnik flies in to save you despite the fact that he wants you dead. What the fuck? To make things even more confusing, he takes Sonic on over to the actual boss fight's Pitmaster, and drops him next to it before proceeding to fling a load of bombs at them both. Why didn't he just chuck Sonic into its mouth and let it eat him alive? Why did he even save Sonic from the lava pit? Was he embarrassed that a fucking wall was able to do what he couldn't? Why not throw Sonic back down into the lava after destroying his own creation like an idiot? Is it because he doesn't actually want to kill Sonic? Does Robotnik secretly like him? Does he want to be his friend? Or what if this isn't actually the Robotnik that we know, hence why he saves Sonic and helps him blow up Pitmaster? Is it perhaps his identical twin brother, Good Robotnik, who is sometimes known as Crackpotnik because he smokes untold amounts of crack and pot? Yes, actually, that's totally canon. Now let's move on to the game that I've been trying to avoid talking about for this whole video. The one that, in my opinion, has the absolute worst boss fight in Sonic's 34-year history. I really don't like the majority of bosses in Sonic Superstars, but this giant piece of shit made me want to send Fang the Sniper back into purgatory with Heavy and Bomb. I hate everything about this fight. You have to wait an eternity for him to complete a whole phase of attacks before you can get another hit in, like with every boss in this game. These laser web things he fires are a pain in the arse to avoid, and he has these stupid fucking corks that will instantly kill you and force you to replay the entire fight from the very beginning when Fang is in the Marvelous Queen. Was losing rings seriously not enough of a penalty? Sure, Trip's story is supposed to be the hard mode, but Jesus Christ, you're not even going to give players a checkpoint between the two phases? I tried God knows how many times to beat this thing, and eventually, after being one hit away from finally winning, I got hit by a massive cork and was sent back to the start. I instantly hit Alt F4 on my keyboard and said, nah, I'm done. And ever since, I've only gone back to Superstars for the time attack mode, since its levels are a ton of fun to speedrun. But to finish Trip's story? Not a chance in hell. Why would I? To unlock the last story? Is there even a point if this fight single-handedly killed my interest in trying to fully beat the game? And from what I gather, the last story is more of the same wait a phase to hit and instant kill bullshit, so no, fuck that. I think I'll play through what I actually like in the game instead. This boss is the worst in the series and I won't hear otherwise. If you disagree, maybe you think there's an even worse one that I didn't mention, I don't care.